guys, Shelby Padgett again. We are out in Boise, Idaho in the northern foothills, about 10 minutes from town at Wahi Motorcycle Club today. And what is it, October, what's the date today?
11th.
October 11th.
I think.
This morning is like 25. Today is gonna be up to like 60. So it's probably one of the last really crisp, warm, sunny days we're gonna get. So today is the first day I'm gonna ride the Honda, the 2006 CR250 that we spent way too many months on building, but I think it was worth it. And gonna give you kind of just an overview of what's on the bike and what we're gonna be looking for as I kind of take it out on the first laps today. So basically, it's a 2006 chassis. I got it in St. Anthony, which is out in Idaho. Got a good deal on it, just under 3,000 bucks. And when I picked it up, it ran pretty good. You guys can check out my last video, or one of the last videos, where we went and picked it up. It was like a 4-hour road trip, really fun with John and Jake. And we took it out. It ran, but it was clapped. Like the carburetor, throttle cable to the carburetor was frayed and would catch on the top part of the carb and stick. The wheels were kind of blown out, and the brakes were non-existent, like no braking at all. Clutch was firm as could be, and the pipe was dented and kinked into the frame. Just a whole mess of things that we had to go through. So took it to my good buddy Shane Bernal here in Star, Idaho. He's builds some sick bikes. He's worked on my bike since I was like 14, 32 now, so known him for quite a while. And we kind of went to town on this thing. It started out with like kind of let's overhaul it and make it cool, but then it turned into pretty much the only things that are left on the bike that were original are the forks, the frame, the subframe, the air box, and some of the components like the cases are obviously all OEM and stuff, but they've been all redone and gone through. So that's pretty much it. Everything else has been replaced on the bike with either an aftermarket, refurbished, or OEM part from Honda. So today we're gonna go through kind of a hit list so you guys know exactly what's on the bike, and give you an idea too. We're gonna be going through each part as I start riding and getting used to riding again. It's been like 6 months for myself. I'm gonna go ahead and break down each component on the bike, give you an overview of what it is, what its use case is, what I like about it and what I don't like about it, if there is anything. So that way you guys kind of get an idea of, if you're building your own bike, what kind of parts you want to put on for what type of outcome. For somebody like myself, I run like kind of like a intermediate pace for an old guy, and maybe you guys can relate. So one of the first things that we'll touch on is Flow Motorsports. They've given us the front brake lever. They gave me a clutch lever too to put on and try out, but I actually switched it out with a Magura hydraulic since it's not compatible. Otherwise I'd be running it on that too. But the cool thing about these levers is that they can go pretty much any direction. When you crash, they're not going to blow out and break and snap off. And right here you can actually adjust the throw of the lever, which is my favorite part because I run my levers pretty far out, I guess, in comparison to most of the common people. And so you get that with the boot cover. The ergonomics are really nice. It's a little bit shorter of a lever than a stock OEM one, so you can actually pull with one finger and you get a lot of push. And then that's hooked up to Flow Motorsports oversized brake kit here. So with the full floating oversized brake kit at 270 millimeters. The stock one, if I recall, you guys can correct me below, probably totally wrong, but I think it's like 220 on the stock, or no, actually probably 185. Something small. So this one's massive, and you get full floating functionality. So they give you the adapter, the whole rotor kit. It's bolt-on with your existing caliper, and then I've got a steel braided line to kind of accommodate just pushing all that power to the rotor. So we'll see how that thing performs. Really excited about it. Looks cool. It's red anodized. You can get it in different colors and finishes with them. And then one of the other parts that Flow got us hooked up with is the Flow foot pegs. These things are sick. Foot pegs are often one of the most overlooked pieces on a bike. The OEM pegs are very small. They're a lot skinnier and kind of like a oblong shape. Your foot doesn't actually realize how much footprint it needs until you upgrade your foot pegs. First time you go with oversized pegs, you'll probably never go back. And Flow has some of the highest quality machining and material that is available in the industry for their parts. and in my opinion, they're the best bang for the buck. They're not crazy overpriced like some of the pegs on the market, but you get the same performance that I've used with assorted pegs throughout different brands. So when it comes to foot pegs, Flow's got it dialed, and they come in tons of sick colors. Next, we've got the Electron carb. Those guys are awesome. David and Kevin from Electron, I've kind of been talking and working with them for almost, I think, like 8 or 9 years, I think now. It's crazy. But their technology is bar none when it comes to carburetors. So the Electron high velocity carb is a 38 millimeter carb, and it uses a mechanical metering rod technology that helps basically measure how much fuel you need for different elevations. So the easiest way to compare it, as if you guys have seen online, is you can take this carb and I just say I can run this over at Idaho City, that's around 5,500, 6,000 foot elevation, and I can take it to SoCal the next week without touching it at basically sea level, and the carb automatically will accommodate, and you can adjust it on the fly from the outside if you want to as well. So killer setup from them. They run between like 400 and 500 bucks for a carb setup. So hit them up, they help you out. They set you up with the throttle cable if you need, and different throttle assembly. And they have some of the best customer support in the industry. Another thing that we got set up on this thing is fat head racing. We got a high compression head here, which is awesome. I actually didn't know much about why people put them on until I started talking to Luke over there at Fathead. He's a killer guy. He knows race machines. He does this for a lot of karts. And the idea behind it is that there's more volume space for the coolant in the head cavity, and it's made of a material that is going to dissipate heat faster than an OEM head. So you get kind of a byproduct of two advantages with more cavity space, and it cools faster. So you get more coolant, cooling the motor down, and it goes ahead and gets rid of the heat much quicker than an OEM setup. So when I'm looking at the engine temperature, this is gonna make it run about 20 to 30 degrees cooler on average from what I understand, and we'll go ahead and kind of check that out as we ride the bike. Let's see, what else do we have? We got the SM Pro Platinum wheel set. You can order these, they're from Europe. The distributor for the Americas is mxrevival.com. Charles over there will take care of you guys. He's the only approved distributor in the US at this time for these wheels, and they are honestly the sickest wheels for the price point. I believe they're going to be hovering around 600 to 800 bucks shipped to your door. They come with the bearings already in and fully laced and trued, ready to roll. So that's kind of cool. You don't have to do anything with them otherwise. And they come in this matte black finish, which is just sick. And you can go ahead, and I got like the polished hubs and just the silver stainless steel spokes that you can swap out and customize whatever you want. So check them out. And then, let's see, Dirt Tricks. This is cool. Come on and check out this sprocket. So it's I believe it's a zirconium type of finish on the metal. So basically, they can scribe in, like, they got my Instagram handle on the sprocket. That's kind of cool. And then they got their company logo too, Dirt Tricks. US-based company, and these things are bulletproof. The sprockets will last. It's kind of like like the old Iron Man style sprocket where it's gonna last forever. But you get to customize it. This one's in like a black chrome finish, which is sick. And then I got a matching one for the countershaft sprocket. So those are all mated together to work really well. And then on this side, you can see we've also got the Dirt Tricks rear rotor. So it's got a wave disc feature, helps dissipate heat, keep our braking at the strongest level. Even though I'm not pro, I still appreciate all those little things. And let's see, what else do we got here? We got Ride Engineering triple clamps. These are OEM offset, so I'm not gonna notice a ton of difference with the offset, but the OEM setup is actually one of the most preferred ones, so I'm not really too worried about it. We'll check them out. It's actually set up for a 2000, newer CR250, 2017 and up, so I can mount on the new front fender and number plate, no problem. Let's see, we got the Polysport Restyle Kit. That's probably the coolest part of the bike in terms of looks, fit, and finish. This is the first and only Nardo Gray CR Restyle Kit available right now. So they're actually in manufacturing. They should be ready for sale by the time this video comes out. And I'll be doing a vitalmx.com review on this too. So you'll see full in depth how the fitment is, what the kit looks like, how the install goes, and just fit and finish. So look out for that on their website. And then we got a local guy, Walker Seats here for the seat cover. I did put it on myself, so if you see some of the rolls, don't mind those. That's just poor craftsmanship on my side. It's been a while since I put a seat cover in, but Walker Seats makes awesome seat covers in the Boise, Idaho area. Hit them up anytime. And let's see, today, we got the Pro Circuit setup. Pro Circuit works pipe, can't go wrong with that. Plus a polished R304 shorty silencer in the rear. And then we had Proline suspension do the suspension, the front and rear setup for me. Just basically a standard valve job for my weight and riding ability. And we haven't even really vetted that out yet. So once I get on the track, we'll start tuning that and make adjustments too that you guys can follow along with. Everything else has been pretty much OEM replaced. Got a Boise rad valve in there, pretty standard for these bikes. The air filter, DT1 air filter setup for a little more airflow, frees up the bike. I will be putting an airbox seal kit on it. It's not on there yet, so I'll talk about that when I get there. And then the motor, the internals of the motor, Crankworks did a fully balanced crank for the motor. And then a port polish, I believe, set up for like basically just the high compression head. And then they polished a lot of the things, all of the internals, just to make sure that everything's seamless and flows smooth. So we'll see what the cause and effect is on that too. So I think that's about everything. Some things that would be sick in the future would be put kit suspension on it. Totally don't need it probably, but it would be cool to have kit suspension on this bike. And then I will be doing some of the Flow Motorsports has a fork wrap for the fork tubes. It's like a heat seal or heat shrink wrap that goes around the fork lower and portions of the upper. So that kind of cleans up the bike look, protects your fork tubes, and it's one unit. It's not a wraparound sticker. So it actually sleeves over, shrinks up, and makes the bike just look sick. So I think we got them all. If you guys want, obviously, if you're following me on Instagram, check out the bike at Ginger969. Subscribe to my YouTube, follow my Facebook page, Moto Life with Shelby Paget. And I'm gonna basically get into this thing, ton of detail on each part and how it fits and finishes with the bike and what I like and don't like as we go. So leave any comments. If you have questions, put them in there. I would love to do videos on your guys' questions about the bike or myself. I'm not very good, but I got enough seat time under me to tell you guys what works and what doesn't for someone of an average Joe pace. And let's see. If you guys have a bike you're building, leave the year and the model underneath, because I'm always curious what other bikes are being built and what's popular in the industry right now. So thanks a lot for watching. Subscribe, like, share, all that fun stuff. And tag along as we go out on the first ride today. You'll see some POV footage today. All right, see ya.